Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and they are about to let us out of our cages here in Georgia, in the United States. I believe the governor has said that we've got, I can't remember the exact date, but they're going to start letting people in Georgia go out and about. I think it's like I thought it was kind of weird. I think it's like you can go get your hair cut or you can go to a gym, which those are two of the places I thought sounded weird to be able to go. But anyhow, we're about to be somewhat free. I'm ready for my son's baseball to start back up. We will probably be doing a lot of travel ball coming up because travel ball is so serious. These people aren't going to stay shut down for long, and we need to get our at-bats in. But we have been practicing baseball. There's one thing that one day you will see it on ESPN. You will see a clip of one of my sons wearing a mask during the current events, taking swings at baseballs. Remember that, because you will see that clip one day. I have it. I might show it on this channel. I'm going to start this video out from Stephen Bull from the DF. This is a great thread he did today. According to Anderson Capital Management, XRP is by far the strongest altcoin, set to become the largest digital asset class in the world. And then it goes through integration with Ripple Labs, by far the strongest altcoin, set to become the largest digital asset class in the world. Can transact within 4 seconds. I mean, just a glowing thing here. And then I like this one too, taking off in Q2 2020. I'm assuming this is from the same document, but wow. Gained significant value by purchasing today. Price is expected to surge and skyrocket in 2020. Wow. Set to become largest digital asset class in the world. So they're going on and on. Now this, and he also had this in here, Santander to become the first UK bank to use XRP for cross-border payments. Right here it says Santander announced that they are the first UK bank to introduce Ripple's XRP blockchain technology to facilitate international payments through a new app. And then down here it says Ripple XRP is defining the way that value moves around the world today. And then this final thing, he's got a clip here, a little blurb here. Miguel Baez is Ripple's head of XRP markets. The company has released plans in May to structure the sale of its currency, and that announcement was instrumental in driving up the interest in the second quarter. According to Miguel Baez, Ripple's head of XRP markets, as for the future, Baez hinted that new announcements may be forthcoming. Now, I think today I may do a video called Miguel Baez's Greatest Hits. And the reason I was thinking about doing that is that this guy is, in my opinion, I would say this guy and David Schwartz would be the two people that are at the very center of what is about to change the world. If David Schwartz is Ripple's $1 trillion man, then Miguel Baez has to have a title of some sort when all the history books are written on this, because he is at the core of all of this. They've kept him hidden away for about a year now, ever since he said, a lot of people they'll see me do #0 doubt. Well, I didn't say that. Miguel Baez said that. He didn't just say #0 doubt. He said #0 doubt ever, period, is what he said. So I'm going to put a greatest hits. So anybody out there that doesn't like #0 doubt, then you can blame Miguel Baez, who's one of the most important people involved in Ripple, because he's the one that said it. Most of what I say on this channel is just what someone else said, and I always show that they said it, because I don't want it to be just me saying. I want to be able to point to someone who actually said it, who matters, someone who is important and in the game, like Miguel Baez or David Schwartz, or I've shown like Hodor's blog. I think Hodor is a key person in all of this. I want to show you what they said, because Hodor he's told you in his blog that he's talked to people at Ripple. I mean, so these are the people I want to hear from. But anyway, here you go, Miguel Baez. And then I want to show you this. I did a little search for world reserve currency and searched for the most recent videos on YouTube because I think it's interesting that different people might be talking about a new world reserve currencies in the current situation. So I found this one. CNBC International was at the top of the list. They put this out yesterday. And I want to start you from 6:15 on this.
So could any of these other currencies give the dollar a run for its money?
For years, there have been calls for an alternative reserve currency, ranging from countries like China and Russia to intergovernmental organizations like the United Nations.
In recent years, some central banks have added the Chinese yuan to their reserves. The cloud of U.S. sanctions has also prompted a desire for some countries to bypass dollar-denominated trading.
By the way, when you see this right here, you need to be thinking, oh yeah, that reminds me of that position where Ripple was trying to hire someone for their sanctions department or whatever it was called.
In 2018, Germany's foreign minister wrote in an op-ed that it is essential that we strengthen European autonomy by establishing payment channels independent of the US. And some are hoping the world's future reserve currency won't be tied to a national government at all. They see cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin eventually overthrowing the dollar. But even so, any change in the US dollar's strength certainly wouldn't happen overnight.
Despite calls for an alternative reserve currency, it's still hard to imagine any other country capable of taking the mantle from the US as the global currency anytime soon.
Yeah, I'll tell you what else it's hard to imagine. It's also hard to imagine the entire world telling all of their citizens to stay in their house for a month or two. That's hard to imagine too. We live in the world of things that are hard to imagine now. To me, it's still hard to imagine that in the 2008 financial crisis that the United States, that's supposed to be a capitalistic society, would be bailing out anyone and instead of just letting failures fail, which they did. I think we live in an upside down world, and we have since 2008. And I think that the powers that be know it, and they've gone about doing things to fix it. And I think XRP is one of those things. Curious Wayne tweeted this out yesterday. Guess many things are going virtual for the rest of the year. This is Ripple Swell. Ripple Swell Global is going virtual. So they're going to do Swell virtually in 2020 now. So no events. It's going to be a virtual event. All right. Then Jonathan D sent me this. This is from the Voyager app. I met these guys and talked to this company when I was in Las Vegas last year. It says in May, we're adding 5 new assets to the Voyager interest program. We'll give you a hint. One starts with an X, and the community is often referred to as an army. Which assets do you think will make the list? So they're obviously adding XRP to the Voyager app soon. Wanted to make you aware of that. Then the crypto utility guy sent me this today. This is today. Fidelity Digital Assets. Please register for this virtual panel tomorrow, which is today at 1 Eastern Time. Hosted by Iconic Holding, a great lineup of panelists, including our head of sales and marketing. Christine Sandler will be discussing institutional adoption of digital assets. I may go check that out myself. Okay, now I want to show you this from XRP Wizard. Sent me this. This was an article. Apparently, this is 50 years of Earth Day. I guess it's an anniversary or something. A look at the sustainability of currency. And I'm not going to go into this article. Ripple sent this out yesterday. But I do want to show you XRP Crypto Wolf summary because there's a theme here. And there's been a theme ever since the World Economic Forum that I think is important to pick up on. Remember, folks, if you believe the world's about to change with digital assets, I think that's hard for anybody to doubt at this point. But if you believe that, it's impossible to ignore that Bitcoin has a climate change issue. I mean, I believe that the World Economic Forum, it's the World Economic Forum. It's not the World Climate Forum, but all they talked about at the World Economic Forum was climate. I believe that it's all been for the purpose of positioning this new digital asset class so that it's not Bitcoin and proof of work digital assets. And I'll just show you this theme here. So you got Ripple They're talking about this. XRP is an incredibly efficient and sustainable form of currency because it has a much lower carbon footprint than other currencies and crypto. XRP isn't dependent on massive amounts of energy, so it's one of the most sustainable forms of currency available. So Ripple puts out this article. At the end of the article, they specifically say that XRP does not have the problems that Bitcoin and Ethereum have because those are proof of work. They specifically point that out. Then yesterday, also, Hyperledger, which we've talked about, find out how a pioneering blockchain solution seeks to help the diamond industry in offsetting its carbon footprint. So they keep talking about carbon footprint. New post from this CEO, excuse me, Leanne Kemp. So more things about carbon footprint. Then, in the midst of what we're going on right now, the World Economic Forum puts this out. I think you get the picture, but the point is that it's not a coincidence that at a World Economic, not a World Climate Forum, but a World Economic Forum, where all the people there know that we're talking about a new order coming in, a new financial order. All of the people there know that. It's not a coincidence that they're harping on this climate change thing, and they all know that Bitcoin is the exact opposite of what climate change would stand for. And they've told you, any you Bitcoin maxis out there, they have told you time and time again, it's not Bitcoin. Listen up.
Money between them. So I think the role of the disruptors and anything that is using distributed ledger technology, whether you call it crypto, assets, currencies, or whatever, and it's far from the Bitcoins that we used to talk about a year ago.
Far from the Bitcoins and she's also said on stage, it's not Bitcoin and Ethereum. We've shown you that on this channel before. You've been told. Now, that doesn't mean that Bitcoin will not go up in price and be a store of value since it can't be anything else. Doesn't mean that it won't do well as digital assets take off. It doesn't mean that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's not going to be used for anything other than a store of wealth, and it certainly isn't going to do what XRP is going to do. Now here, you can, from Goldface XRP, now buy gold with XRP. Swissgold.ch is now accepting payment for gold and silver purchases in cryptocurrency XRP. I wanted to read you this part. I like this. There are a number of benefits to using XRP to purchase precious metals. It is one of the most stabilized and renowned altcoins on the market today, and its integrated and immediate payment system is used not just by cryptocurrency enthusiasts, but also by a number of large banks. It's backed by large financial institutions, allows the currency to potentially be more scalable than other altcoins. The currency is also well capitalized. You're darn right, folks. All right, next. This is from Michael at VAL5 link. Starbucks and McDonald's are reportedly among 19 restaurants and retail shops that will be involved in testing China's central bank digital currency in the country's Zhejiang and new district. I don't even know how to say that, but I mean, what else is new? Okay, now this is great from Leonidas. If you don't follow Leonidas, go give him a follow. This guy I met him when I was at Swell. Very nice guy, very smart guy. And he's got a very good website I'm about to show you. His website's at xrparcade.com. At Leo, HADJILOIZOU. Here's his website. And he's on this. It's, by the way, it's xrparcade.com, and you can look up here at the top. He's got everything you can even imagine that you ever wanted to know about Ripple and XRP. But what he sent me today is really interesting. Introducing Ripple's podcast series, Block Stars with David Schwartz. David Schwartz has started a podcast, and I think he's doing it through Ripple. And I actually went to the podcast, but go to xrparcade.com and you can see this article, and there's a link to the podcast. But here's the podcast. Listen to what David Schwartz. It's like an introduction to the podcast.
Hello, listeners. I'm David Schwartz, Ripple CTO and XRP Ledger co-founder. I'm excited to share that I'm hosting Ripple's new podcast series, BlockStars. Each episode will educate you on the basics of the technology and share real-world problems being solved today and what you can expect tomorrow. We'll also discuss industry topics like sustainability and the Bitcoin halving event. The podcast features crypto and blockchain technology leaders, including Binance.us CEO Catherine Coley, BRD CEO Adam Trademan, and Berkeley economist Barry Eichengreen, just to name a few. We'll also be featuring Ripple's own BlockStars. See what I did there? Like our co-founder and executive chairman Chris Larson and vice president of global institutional markets Brianne Madigan. Make sure to follow Ripple on Twitter @Ripple for frequent updates on the BlockStars launch and where to subscribe. See you around the blockchain.
Okay, a couple of things to unpack there. First thing, I didn't notice that he said that he would be interviewing Miguel Valles. Second thing, he mentioned the BRD wallet again. We've talked about this in the past. Ripple seems to keep on bringing up this BRD wallet. So don't be surprised. What I believe, this is just me talking, I believe this BRD wallet is somehow going to be linked to Polysign custody. And I believe for some reason they've chosen this BRD wallet. I believe that it will, and it may not be running on the front end. The BRD wallet may be the back end of it may be the technology that is for these wallets on people's phones, where it could, who knows? I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying, think all these wallets backed and all these different, or who knows, the freaking United States of America may be using BRD tech and have the U.S. Treasury on the name of the wallet, You know, who knows where this is going? I just know that words matter, and when I keep hearing words over and over, and it seems to be being sold, BRD, that makes about 3 or 4 times coming from Ripple, BRD. So don't forget those letters, BRD, that wallet. But anyway, this is going to be interesting to see where this goes. Okay, economy, folks. I'm going to end it here. Plunging U.S. car prices. This is from Peter Schiff. Plunging used car prices spells doom for future new car sales due to competition and lack of trade-in value. Also, lower residual values on leased and repoed cars means massive losses for GM and Ford's finance division. Will the Fed buy used cars? The problem will be parking. Man. And then there's this from Cryptopolis. The U.S. economy has now erased all job gains since the Great Recession. The job losses are unbelievable, folks. And look at this one. U.S. weekly job claims hit 4.4 million, bringing the 5-week total to more than 26 million. Now listen to this. Last night, I was watching a baseball documentary, and they were talking about the Great Depression and how it affected baseball. And those were the times, I think, when Babe Ruth was around and people like that. And they were talking about the job losses and how people would go to the game and they would buy the 5-cent hot dog or whatever. But they mentioned the number of job losses last night, and it was under 26 million during the Great Depression, the figure that they used. This is not good, folks. Now, listen, I keep bringing it up to you, and I'm going to bring it up again. This is in the description of all my videos. Many of you, if you're getting laid off, you've got a 401k that you have to roll somewhere. You can roll part or all of it into an iTrustCapital IRA, and I've got this in the description of all my videos. I want to explain this to you because many of you don't understand what this is about. These guys have a business model where they charge on a month-to-month basis, okay? Here's the difference. Let's say you're taking $10,000 and you have there's very few options to be able to buy into XRP to buy into XRP in IRAs. There's not many companies that do it. iTrust is one of a handful, but iTrust is the best deal. That's the reason I started talking to these guys, and I opened one myself. They charge $29.95 a month, but with my coupon, you'll get the first month free. Now, here's the difference. If you went to some of these other companies, they charge you 10 to 15% on the front end. So let's say you give them $10,000. They take 10% of your $10,000 on the, or 15 on the front end. Okay, that's $1,000 to $1,500 that they charge you up front before you even get started. Then they start charging you fees. And I won't name any names of the companies, but they do. Look into it before you open these. That's why I recommend this. Now, in my description of my video, you can go and I got a coupon code, and I also have an interview I did with the COO at iTrustCapital if you want to find out more about it. I'm a digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that if you are getting laid off, you do have an option. I believe digital assets will be one of the few saviors in all of this. Thank you for listening.